Hi, I'm Sello Maake KaNcube. I'm an actor, director, and playwright. The way I look at my career, I kind of trace it back even to when I was like 4 years old, 5 years old. My uncle used to take me, I think on Saturdays. He used to take me to town, because, I was a Majaivan, you know what I mean? And what he would do is he would take me to town and, at the Indian shops, they will always have a speaker on the pavement and the latest, pop song would be playing there. And I think strategically my uncle would take me there. And the song would be playing and men will get down on the pavement and people will throw money. And after that, my reward would be a packet of chips and Coca-Cola. And I think my performing streak, basically, I kind of trace it from there. And I think the other turning point was when I was doing Standard 3. Standard 3 was what, grade 5? Grade 5, when I was doing grade 5, we started with sub A, sub B, standard 1, standard 2, standard 3. So when I was doing grade 5, our teacher gave us a poem to go and memorize, and the poem was All Things Bright and Beautiful. Yeah, I think it was written by Elizabeth May or somebody, I can't remember. And at that time, medium of instruction was mother tongue. But, we would learn English and Afrikaans, as, part of the other languages. So he gave us that poem to go and memorize. And I think my mother is the one who basically helped me through this, because my understanding of English at that time must have been very limited, if non-existent. I was doing Standard 5, Standard 6, and at our school, at school at that time, we will have maybe extramural activities, hours and somehow it would be handwork, gardening. But I think I was never good at all those things. So the only thing that I was basically always earmarked for was reciting poems. So and what would happen is that sometimes, an inspector, school's inspector would come and, and then, there will be pupils who will be chosen to say, okay, this one is good at this, and they go and exhibit to the inspector. And I was always called on to come and be the performer and recite poems. First performance was, I think, in January, actually. It was just before schools opened, because during the holidays, I was rehearsing with them here. And just before the schools opened, they had a performance at Naledi Hall. So I went and, did my thing there. And I remember my biological dad actually cried, seeing me on stage, And then, and I think from then on, that was it. I actually just caught on the bug, or the bug had bitten me. When you've got something that makes you wake up, and that excites you, and that you go to do it without even being, pushed from behind. Like, there's a story that I will tell you later, with about my stepfather. So yeah, and I'd seen this, this play called Survival, and it was only 5 actors on stage. There was no set, it was just only like a little ramp. And I saw, those guys were just doing amazing things, miming cars, miming all kinds of things, and I was like, wow. And I remember I couldn't sleep that day when I went home, It was like, what? Only 5 people on stage. They always say, follow your heart, But following your heart is much deeper than that. Basically, you actually have got to be disciplined, and You know, I once heard somebody defining what discipline is. And he said, discipline is the ability to give yourself an instruction and carry it out. And that's all I can say to the young people. Said, hey guys, have discipline. Be able to give yourself an instruction and then carry it out. But make sure you give yourself an instruction that builds you, because you can give yourself an instruction that go and steal a car or go and do what and carry it out. No, not that. Give yourself an instruction that builds your character. And in fact, I think in closing, I would say there's a nice Yoruba proverb that says, mind your thoughts as they become your words. Mind your words as they become your actions. Mind your actions as they become your habits. And mind your habit as it defines your character.